One thing that you have mentioned several times is the importance of building trust. Is there anything there that you would like to add?
It's not our job to build trust in other societies. This is done within those societies. My job as a researcher is to observe and to try to initiate processes and then observe them in different countries. And at the moment it's in Vietnam and in Uzbekistan. And we are trying this model that I mentioned before to build trust by not using law as the measurement of what's corrupt and not, but instead shift it towards what's dysfunctional in relation to what you want to achieve with your organization. And then you will quite quickly see that the international agreements around corruption are quite good for the organization. And that happens. And when you start talking about that, and when people start to admit that, yes, we have informal norms that are dysfunctional, we all know it. So when you can observe a group of people sitting and talking about how they run their organization, and they say, we all know, let's talk about this in a real way. And when they kind of, in Swedish we say, ta bladet från munnen, remove the leaf to remove whatever is hindering you from talking openly. So when someone, and often there is someone in the group saying that, okay, let's be real. And then we have reached a point of trust, I think. Then we can start, then it's very difficult to come with saying that the law says that you shouldn't do this, so why are you doing that? Aren't you afraid of the police coming? And they say, no, I can always pay the police. So, I think communication, discussions, knowledge are key elements in building trust.
From a Swedish context, given that we assume or think that we have quite high level of trust, and to secure that for an organization that wants to maintain that, I would say that it's really the leadership is, and the tone at the top is really, really important, because that goes down in the whole of the organization. To work, as you said, with education, dilemmas, to have the question about corruption and what corruption leads to, that they can see the broader consequences. That's important. The risk management, to identify risks so you don't have temptations to do wrong. And internal control that is adequate, not too much surveillance, but surveillance at the right, to identify where we do have the risk, and that's where we make the controls. Of course, also that you have an organization that is not too afraid to lift problems or irregularities, and have a system to deal with that. What do you do when you discover something? Where should you go if you suspect that your boss has done something? So that's really important. And the last thing I think is to evaluate when things happen, when you have irregularities, scandals or something. Do you learn from them? Do you learn, and what can we do different the next way? And that it takes a brave organization. But I think if you do that, that's one way of really building trust.
Anything to add?
Well, no, I agree, but I think there's, of course, there's no quick fixes on fixing trust in a society. It's something that has to be built up by a continuous commitment to, some sort of good governance principles. So yeah, I mean, and to involve the citizens in decision making, and to ensure a broad participation, to be transparent, and to ensure that there are some kind of mechanisms for accountability. I think that in the long run, that is something that sort of adds to building a level of trust for the local governments.